And there you have it.
We're back.
Friday night.
Welcome to Marital Hate. I'm Stacy.
I'm Douglas.
Hate. A little bit.
Yeah,
That's a lot of titty.
yeah, careful with that. You can put an eye
I
out.
am wearing a robe. That's how my week's going. How's yours? Is everybody having I don't know if anybody we may have basically lost all of our followers.
Well, see, that's the thing. They're not a forgiving bunch.
Our followers, it's our regulars are fucking awesome. The master haters, I can't. They're just they
are good.
Best. Tracy, Ann, Todd, Dave, David, Whitmore. I left the fucking house open. Whitmore, who am I forgetting? There's a bunch of people I'm forgetting.
There's two Todds. Well, actually, there's three Todds.
There's just
we're three Todds to the wind, is what we are.
That's a good way to be. I have to tell you about this fucking movie that I watched, by the way. It's a little out there even for me, if you can believe that. Is that where I went? Yeah. All right, wait, you're going places. Did you edit that? Do we know what episode it is?
I did.
Proper
We're
episode?
at 192. 92. KTU. We keep turning you on.
Somebody's watching. All right.
Somebody lurking.
So I watched. First of all, thank you to everybody who comes to support us night after night. We appreciate you. That one person that's out there. I don't know who you are, but we like you. No, seriously, my titty's gonna pop out tonight. You to take a bet on that one. So that
would be an unintentional titty pop.
I watched an incredibly fucked up movie today.
Well, that's right up your alley.
There's 26 minutes left.
Oh, so you don't know what happened?
I know enough of what happened to know that it's fucked up. I don't want to spoil it.
Are you going to make me take mushrooms and watch that movie?
I might just make you take mushrooms, but not and watch this. I wouldn't advise that anybody do mushrooms while watching this movie. No, it's called Saltburn, and it's
Saltburn.
Saltburn.
Oh, sounds painful.
I want to pull it up on IMDb just so I can give you some.
We'll get.
No, I mean seriously, I can't even with this movie. So it's the chick from. We were talking about her the other day too. It's the chick from Gone Girl and I Care.
Oh, right, yeah.
What was she in? There was something else that she was in. We were just talking about the other day.
We were just talking about it.
Rosamund Pike.
Yeah.
And she was in.
Oh, she was on one of our fashion things, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, that's right. Yes, she was in a fashion thing. So in any case, this movie. So I think the only person that you would know is Rosamund Pike. I didn't know any of the other people. This Jacob, although I was watching it on my iPad. And the sun was glaring through the window, so it was kind of hard to see. The guy from what was the thing? The Jason Segel, the transgender chick that's gorgeous, Sally Field.
Oh, that
Divine Nonchalance.
The something. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I can't remember. With Divine Club or so, I don't remember what it was.
That was listen, if you haven't seen that, that was fantastic. Jason Segel. So it was see, I don't even have it in the top 10 listing of his shows, and it was really great.
Wasn't it just then?
What?
No,
it's not even. Maybe I'm going to pull up Sally Field.
And now Sally Field was in Smokey and the Bandit.
You guys know we talked about it on the pod.
We did. It was called the
Divine Nonchalance, the something Society, the Society Elsewhere Society.
Yeah, or something like that. It was. It was kind of like a puzzle, and the people tell you to go to
Dispatches from Elsewhere.
Dispatches. Something.
Dispatches from Elsewhere. Okay, so Dispatches from Elsewhere. The guy from that, the guy that was the Lejeune Institute guy, he's in this. If you haven't seen Dispatches from Elsewhere, we need to rewatch it. That's a movie I'd watch on drugs or sober, or whatever. But there's nobody else in this movie that you would know. That I knew at least, but I'm old.
You don't know Glenn Grimstead?
No, I don't know. But it was also it's they're. So this kid is at Oxford University, and he has he's having trouble making friends, but he helps out this one rich kid, and the rich kid's like, hey, come back to my house, and over summer break because his dad died. There's all kinds of plot twists and shit, right? And I don't want to give any of that
All
away.
right.
But he goes to this, like, I'm talking like fucking like the fucking royal castle. Like, this place is absurd, this house. And the Gone Girl chick, Rosamund Pike, I guess her name is that it?
Rosamund, yes.
Is that Rosamund? No, I see it. I just don't know if that's how you pronounce
I
it.
would assume so. Rosamund. Rosamund.
In any
Come
case,
in here.
she's the mother, like that in the wealthy house,
Okay,
and then the Dispatches from Elsewhere guy is like the father.
Okay.
And so they have a son and a daughter, and then there's like ne'er-do-wells that like kind of hang out at their house because it's just like massive estate.
Yeah.
So people will come and stay, but apparently they have people come and stay all the time.
We know some people like that.
Us.
Near to well.
No, but like they have all these people, like random people come and stay with them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, then they like get sick of them and kick them out. So like they'll have people stay for months at a time,
Right.
and then
they're
just be like,
okay, you gotta
off
go.
with you. And they
I can see that.
but they kick them out like unceremoniously in the middle of the night.
Oh, that's not good.
So this kid goes with his friend, and he's like, hey, listen, I'm from a really poor family. My parents are both drug addicts, and blah, blah, blah. My dad just died, blah, blah, blah. Plot twists abund. And so at some point, he's there, and he's like, I'm going to spoil some stuff, just so you know. But it's not like it's you. The stuff I'm going to spoil, you're going to have to watch to be like, wow, like she really couldn't possibly do that justice as to how fucked up it was. So I'm basically warning you. This is like a
right now it just sounds complicated. I don't know what
I'm
happens.
telling you, when I'm telling you this is fucked up.
Is it fucked up in
No.
a suspense or a bad behavior or a horror or
Fucked up.
worse than that?
If I'm saying it's fucked, you guys have watched this
pretty bad.
podcast. If I'm saying
Yeah.
it's fucked up, it's got to be pretty bad, right?
You're the canary in the coal mine.
Okay, so at one point he's like he's sharing a bathroom with his friend. They have like a Jack and Jill bathroom or whatever.
Okay.
It's, by the way, the bathroom's like the size of our pool area, and like they have like a clawfoot tub in the middle, and it overlooks the maze on the estate.
Oh,
like
nice.
it's absurd. Like these
You
people
need a
are
good maze on your
rich.
estate. Yeah.
rich, and like like richer than anybody I know, and I know some rich people. Not that impresses me because it
I
fucking
don't know any
doesn't.
rich people. I
Yeah,
don't.
you do.
I know rich people.
Yeah.
Rich people, like wealthy people.
Some of the people that we know are very wealthy, and they just don't. That's like there's like old money,
Yeah.
then there's like big old money,
Mhm.
and then there's new money. The
Yeah.
people, and then there's like the people that are keeping up with the Joneses.
Right.
New money people tend to be showy.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Older
Old
money
money.
people, not so much.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
a lot of people like, hey, listen, I know some people that got some bucks that drive a Honda Accord.
Hmm.
You know, listen, we know somebody that lives in a goddamn dome that's a millionaire. Lives in a dome in the woods. Todd went and fixed his generator last week.
That's right. Well,
think
we
he-
still never
I
dove
think we
deep
might be in
into
it.
that.
All right. Well, I got to reach out to him. I
Yeah.
just haven't. But yeah. We've had this odd relationship for like 30 years. But let me get back to this.
Okay,
movie.
all right.
Speaking of
Fucked up.
fucked up things, Charlie, but then also the movie. Okay, so they have adjoining bathrooms, and
Mm-hmm.
so he's like goes into like go brush his teeth, but as he
Adjoining or shared? You said shared before.
shared adjoining, it's a Jack and Jill, so it's a bathroom in between the two bedrooms.
Okay, there's two doors. Boom, boom, boom. Okay.
Tub in the center,
Yeah.
sink, whatever. He's like, I hope you don't mind. We'll be sharing a bathroom. No problem. So one night he goes to brush his teeth, and he sees like he's hearing like sex noises, and he peeks, and the other guy is jerking off
You never peek.
in the tub.
Oh.
Which is fine. Like
Oh,
if
okay.
you want, hey Trace is here just in time.
Okay.
Tracy, I'm telling you, you are here just in time. No one will appreciate this quite like you can because you have a sick sense of humor. And you'll be like, wow, that's really fucked up even for you guys.
All right. So,
So he's jerking off
Yeah.
in the bathtub.
Yeah.
So the guy who like lives, that's his family home,
Mhm.
the wealthy one, the really good look, like he's really good looking
right.
by like, the standards or whatever.
By regular people's standards.
No, I don't find him to be attractive, but like he's a young guy. Like
Right.
I like
right.
old
Young
dudes.
You like guys that
I
are
like
on the back nine.
maybe no, not in the back nine.
I'm on the back nine.
You're never on the back. What does that mean? The back nine? You mean you're old?
Means you're past
I don't
the
want you to make
halfway.
a golf reference. Since
Ah.
I never reference golf, I'll never be able to get horny again. Or maybe I will. That's not the point.
You just have to watch a fucked up movie and then you're all, this is great.
Dude, even this movie was too much
Okay.
for me.
All right. All right. So he's in the
His
bathtub.
friend jerks off,
Yeah.
drains the tub.
Does he wait? Does he watch the whole thing happen or did he just leave?
No, he like watches the guy.
Oh.
And so the guy,
That's
like, he's
problem.
like in his room or whatever. Like
Some
the guy gets
invasion of
out of the
privacy.
tub or whatever, drains the tub, and And he's like in his room, and the guy like comes over to the door, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to bed. Like, night. See you in the morning in the bathroom's free." And he's like, "Yeah, dude, I know. I just watched you jerk off."
He wouldn't shake his hand.
He climbs in the bathtub. As
The other guy,
the friend,
the
that's visiting,
non-jerker,
the guy whose parents are drug dealers,
Yep.
gets in the tub, lays down face first, and licks up everything going down the drain.
All right, A, that's gross, and B, that's gross.
Trace says, "Yay." Well, I mean,
I mean,
no, he's like literally. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can do this on camera. He's like on the bottom of the, and there's
but
like,
it's also his like butthole water on there too. So that's like,
I don't think if you're licking another
I
dude's
don't
jizz out of a bathtub, I don't really think you're
Yeah, you're
concerned about his
probably not
butthole,
worried
and his
about that.
butthole is pretty clean. Though, like one time that I licked your asshole was in the shower when it was clean. We call that a hybrid around here. It's when you get a tug job. It's really a rusty trombone.
I don't know.
but
I honestly don't know what a hybrid is anymore.
In any case, it gets worse.
Okay. Oh, worse than that.
So,
So the other guy's on the toilet and drops a deuce.
no. So then he goes outside every night. Like,
so
at,
what
3
did
in
the other
morning.
guy do? Did the other guy see him lick up the tub?
No, the guy's in bed. He just told you he was going to bed.
All right.
Okay, so so then every night he gets up and does something in the middle of the night. One night he goes and sees the mom and is like, "You're so hot," and like they don't fuck though, and not that I remember, but they
Spoiler
might.
alert.
I haven't seen the rest of the movie yet. And then at one point, so the mother is like, "Listen, my daughter is
I just saw Tom's.
Tom says good to the last drop." I guess.
It just seems like that a tub is a bad
I hope
delivery
that guy-
mechanism for
Ejaculate.
Well,
But
because
think
if
about
you're
it,
in
it's
the tub,
diluted.
and and then it's diluted in like 80 gallons of water.
You've jerked off in the tub.
I have not.
I've jerked you off in the tub, so you've been swimming with your jizz.
No,
I
no,
didn't
no.
climb in the tub
No,
afterwards.
but that's the
and
thing. It
lick
all
the-
goes down, right? It goes like whatever. It goes down. There's nothing left.
No, but he went in as it was draining because tubs take, clunk, clunk,
Oh,
clunk.
oldie tubs.
Well, any
And
tub
maybe it's
takes-
like floating at the
if
top like oil.
I get out of the tub, I
It's
pull
going
the
down.
plug. It's going to be draining for a few minutes.
Yeah.
They had their little conversation, and it was still going down. Like it was like the last.
So it was still there. All right. So
it was like
I'll
that
give you
just last residue bit, like
like
that,
just-
like probably the amount of water that's in our tub right now. Even though
Right,
I'm
you
out
just
of the
got out
tub,
of the
like there's
tub.
just a little bit, like a little water, and so it was diluted.
I see you
guess.
jerking off in the tub.
I don't have a penis,
Oh,
but if I
then was
was
that-
gonna, yes, I could do it in the tub. Daniel's back with sound. Thank
Hello,
God,
Daniel.
because you're gonna
Daniel.
hear about this fucked up movie. What was it called again? I already forgot. It's
Salt
called
and
S-
Boko or
No,
whatever it
it's
was.
called Saltburn. It was made. It's 2023.
Burn. I
If
like
you
Salt
have-
and Boko better.
If you have Amazon Prime, it's free to watch without commercials. Okay, so there's a scene. And so he talks to the mother, and he's like hitting on the mother. And the mother is like, by the way, I'm not giving away the plot. So watch the movie.
It's always good when you hit on the mom.
But it
the castle.
definitely has like a dinner for schmucks kind of vibe, like
Yeah,
where
yeah.
like you're taking some poor person and like bringing them into
throwing
this
them
rich environment, but they're not really like they're not
They're
really
not-
one of us.
They're not supposed to be.
They're
there.
not
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
us.
They're like renters on Surfside Road.
Guilty. So anyway, the next scene. So he's talking to the mother. He hits on the mother, and she's like, "I'm really worried about my daughter. Like, she has an eating disorder, and like they're talking about this other person." And she's like, "It would be really nice if she had a boyfriend like you."
Blah blah blah.
So he's like, "All right, I understand, ma'am. I will fuck your daughter." And so he leaves her.
You know, it'd be really fun if he comes downstairs after the tub ordeal. Would you like something to eat? No, I'm full.
He's not full, and let me just tell you why.
Oh Jesus!
So, if you were eating, you were gonna want to stop. So he's like, "Oh yeah, she has an eating disorder. Like she needs to eat or whatever." And
Yeah.
like they're talking about various things, and so she's like, she goes up to her. So he goes up to the girl. She's in the garden. It's the middle of the night, and she's like right outside his window.
Yeah.
And there was like another house guest there that he hit on her. He's like, "Why are you outside my window in a
This guy's
sheer
got
window?" Like
needs.
every night in the middle of the night, he gets up and attempts to fuck somebody.
I'm gonna try and do that.
I'm the only person in this house.
Oh, that's true.
And you're in the doghouse, so we're gonna have to get a pet if you want to
I'm
get
just-
some action.
I'm
That's
gonna- What?
let me tell you what
A
happens.
pet and some peanut butter. Go ahead.
Yes.
All right, what happens with the? All right, so he's out.
Yeah, definitely use peanut butter.
The
I don't know
daughter?
that the daughter. So he
Alright.
goes outside. The daughter's outside, and the mother has told him like she needs the daughter to have a boyfriend so she doesn't have an eating disorder anymore. And so he starts like kind of like flirting with her, talking to her, or whatever. And he's like, "You need like." He's like basically does like a whole BDSM thing with her, and it's like, "I'm gonna make you eat your breakfast and blah blah blah." No big deal. Kisses her, they
Yeah.
make out a little,
Yeah.
whatever. and he's
It's fun.
Daniel says, and I've been bathing alone all these years.
Yeah.
Again, the guy was bathing by himself.
Alone by himself.
By himself.
Having a good time.
You might need to rewind. So they like start making out, fooling around or whatever, and he's like, if you eat your breakfast, I'll eat you. And he's like, goes down like he's gonna go to town, right? And she's like, no, it's the wrong time of the month.
Okay.
So
but he doesn't.
He's like, fuck you, I'm doing it. I'm going to town. I'm gonna earn my Red Wings, baby. Woohoo! And so he gets down in there and he's like, there's a lot of blood.
like Borat blood?
Excision. It's like excision. It's not a murder scene in by any shape of the, but it's they do it in like an erotic and also disturbing way. He like smears it on her face and they like make out. And there's a point in the film where someone dies, can't tell you who, because that'll ruin the movie, but then someone fucks the grave of that person. Like literally just like straight up, like the scene I was watching when you came in this afternoon was this guy straight up naked, fucking full on fucking the ground. And then that's where I lost the movie. So I'm gonna have to watch for that one at the Oscars next year, boys and girls. I feel like that's gonna go far. So now you know. Do you want to watch that?
And there's more to go, right?
Oh yeah.
There's more of this movie. So who the hell knows what's going on?
I think that, hang on a second, I might have a still.
Still.
I will, because I can't. Hang
on. So little Tommy Milmore says, great movie.
Have you seen it?
I don't know if he's being facetious or if he's saying great movie. That's like, because it all gets lost in a text, right? In a little message.
I do like when things push the envelope, though.
But it is in lowercase. So great movie. I don't know. Well, we'll just assume that you like the movie. Tom says, yes. That actually helps a lot. And Tracy thinks it's fantastic. And she's laughing her ass off. So, yeah, I can't. Yeah, I don't know.
How many of you out there have your Red Wings? What?
I've never heard that. I've heard clown
face.
I've not heard Red Wings.
We are coming in hot on a Friday night after a 2-night
Oasis. Well, we got people like they, we left them hanging.
Tracy says, I do. Tom said, I saw the movie. I like it a lot.
So Tom could spoil it for us. Don't.
Hope all is good with everyone.
Oh yeah, it's great.
And not necessarily. And also, we're talking about a horrifying movie. But thank you for asking. Anne is coming to Florida next week. And she'd like to try to get together.
Florida's a big state, Anne. Can't be driving all around chasing you down.
We were supposed to go see Vanilla Ice this weekend. That's not going to work. There's lots of ideas. So Tom says he saw the movie and liked it a lot, and Tracy says I do. Yeah, I think that you do.
I don't remember. What do I care? It's dark usually. What do I care? I don't give a shit.
Well, when you have sex when a woman is, and we're all adults here. If you're a child and you're watching this, your parents are doing a terrible job.
No children.
But if you have sex when you have your period, it helps tremendously with like the cramps and the inflammation, and you're lowered risk of getting pregnant. As a matter of fact, in the Crunchy Moms group, a lot of these women are using cycle tracking for birth control. I do not necessarily.
They used to call that the rhythm method.
Rhythm method, as it were,
in the 50s and 60s when there was a baby boom.
Do you know they taught us that in Catholic school? Abstinence.
Well, that's because they don't allow birth control in the Catholic area.
They taught birth control too, but they were just like, here's your options. But the Lord says. Speaking side note, Beth,
the jism method.
Shout out to Beth, Pam, and Bob, who are all watching us on Instagram. Guys, if you're watching on Instagram, the only problem is that Instagram,
we can't see your comments on here.
We can see your comments. We just can't pull them up on the screen. Yeah. And at some point, Instagram just shuts us off. So we're still live on YouTube and Facebook. And we're also live on Twitter, but if you're live on Instagram and you're really invested or you want your comments to come up on screen, join us on another platform.
So Tom says the jism method, which is, I believe, the reason why the method was invented in the first place. So
isn't the jism?
It's like the rhythm method, but this is the jism method.
I don't.
You just making shit up.
Pull out. Oh, okay. So I was googling that.
That was in your search history forever.
Listen, but I understand. Like a lot of women are concerned about the hormones and birth control. I am too. I wish I had never taken birth control pills.
Imagine.
What? Imagine what.
Oh, sex does help cramps.
Yeah, tremendously.
Okay.
I gotta say, Tracy's got to be the authority.
Apparently, she knows a lot of things
well, and
about
we give-
the womanly area.
We're always looking for experts in various categories. We're
Yeah.
still looking for some experts.
I
but
thought
we
I was
gotta-
an expert, but she's a
I
double
think
expert.
Trace gets the expert award on Poontang because she's both a lady and she has a lady. So, you know.
Well, that gives you access to 2 vaginas. I only have
All of
access
the
to the
time.
one.
That's true. Well, you don't even have access to the one right
No,
now.
no,
Let's
I
be
don't.
serious. So anyway, that was interesting. And then I watched. Do we have a comment?
Nope.
Sex does help cramps. So a lot of women. So I mean, listen, I wouldn't recommend doing the rhythm method or the pull-out method if having a baby is not an option for you. If having a baby is not an option for you, you should be using multiple forms of birth control. And I would go with
And a sheet with a hole in it.
I enjoy a sheet with a hole. It's nice. Maybe helps reduce the.
It's
transmission of
ceremonial.
crabs. I'd go. I don't know. What would you like? Condom sponge kind of deal. Condom diaphragm.
Well, it depends on the lady.
Yeah, but you got to do the condom. Is the point?
Well, you kind of would almost have to at that point, right? Because you don't. Yeah. What else do you have? You have the diaphragm. You have the lady condom.
Listen, all I know is
which I
that,
think is. Yeah, I don't think.
all I
anybody
know
uses
is that before I had my hysterectomy,
Yes.
if I was sexually active and didn't want to have children, I always used 2 forms of birth control because I'm not taking those fucking chances.
One was this, and one was this.
Okay, that was from like that was before I lost my virginity. There was an entire
the
period
loophole.
of time, but I did not know about the poophole loophole.
I don't think that was a thing in back in. Well, certainly, it wasn't even on the menu when I was growing up.
I really first learned about butt sex in 1994, but I had lost my virginity by then, so it was like. But if I had learned before then, I might have been one of those girls.
You never know. You never know what would you.
Because your vagina is a sacred hole.
It's the holiest of holes.
In any case,
I don't. What do I know about holy anything? I never went to church. Went to the Church of Rock and Roll. Yeah, Paul Stanley, Reverend.
I don't even know what to say about that. I also watched Dr. Phil and Kid Rock on.
Were they together?
No, 2 different episodes. Kid Rock was like 3.5 hours. I think.
Now,
Dr. Phil was 2.
Joseph, why do you smoke so many cigars and cannabis? Are you covering up for the lack of love of your father figure? Somebody
said Dr. Phil wasn't a doctor recently, and I believed them. And then I Googled it today and found out that he actually is. He has a PhD.
Oh, that's right. So he's not. So Poophole Loophole is popular in Colombia.
Yeah.
It'd been funnier if Colombia rhymed with Poophole Loophole.
Well, I mean, but Colombia,
because
it's a largely
Kuala Lumpur.
Well, in Colombia, we call it Kula. But I will say that Colombia is a largely Catholic country. A lot of people believe that you have to wait till you have sex. I don't know.
They went back there.
I went with the blowjobs. Thought that was my dad told me to give.
Your dad told you, yes.
Dad,
hey, you were just obeying what he had to say.
Give your boyfriend a hand job or a blowjob so you don't get pregnant. And you wonder why I'm like this.
He only had that conversation with you about 5 years ago, so that explains the 4 children.
No, this was in somewhere around 1994. Yeah,
It was probably
the ship had sailed already. But yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, I didn't have the heart to tell him. Like, Dad, that ship has sailed.
Poophole Loophole is also used from good old cocaine.
I have never done cocaine. I don't think cocaine would be a good drug for me.
I was going to put, the other day I was going to grind up your supplements. You said, I don't want to take my supplements. I'll grind them up and put them in your butt. And that never happened. So anyways, I thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, apparently.
Well, and there's a great scene in Californication where Kathleen Turner asks Charlie Runkle, who is also Harry from Sex and the City.
Yeah, the bald guy. I don't know his name. But he's good in California.
He's great, but he's especially good in California.
Oh yeah, he's great.
So he has this whole thing with
Evan
Kathleen
Handler?
Turner.
I believe his name is Evan Handler.
Chris North, Lloyd Green, Evan Handler. You're right. Yeah. Kathleen Turner's in it.
Yes.
And her husband is played by the guy from News Radio. I think he died. Not Phil Hartman, the other one.
Stephen Root? No.
Is that his name?
Yeah. The guy from Office Space, the state one.
That's the same guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So he goes, So she goes, "Can you give me a? I have a deviated septum, so I
So I
need
need
to
you to give
have
me-
a tush toot
Yes.
with a cocaine straw given to him to a female member of Stevie Nicks, and it wasn't Lindsey Graham or something like that. Like she basically identifies
Buckingham. Yeah.
Buckingham. It basically identifies who gave her
That's
this coke straw,
hysterical.
but she wants him to do a tush toot. And then
So
there's also that cocaine in the ass scene in Wolf of Wall Street.
Was it? Yeah, I guess there was. There was ass and cocaine in that movie.
We need to get out a lot.
Yeah, I got nothing.
We don't do anything fun. It's a Friday night. Are we doing cocaine out of each other's assholes? Nope. Daniel says my first girlfriend in situ was so ugly that I wished I could have used a sheet with a hole in it. The sheet and the hole with it. I don't know if that's an actual thing.
We just made that up. We were thinking like in some cultures.
I think it might be.
In some cultures, they have the ceremonial sheet with the hole in it, whatever. But that would have to cover her face, Daniel, not just her body parts. I did go on a date with a girl that was not attractive, and it was hard to look. It was hard to even look at her. It was kind of, it was very bad. So that didn't go as far as the sheet. But, no bueno.
Sex with a
You're asking ChatGPT. Sex with sheets is common in America.
I had to ask ChatGPT because it's the closest thing we have to an assistant. Some individuals or couples may engage in a practice known as sheeting. Sheeting with a hole. This involves placing a sheet or cloth between the partners during sexual activity, which I would think would reduce your transmission of crabs. So that's nice.
I will also say this, though. I think Daniel's talking about bagging. He needed a bagging. You're talking about sheeting, yeah.
Yeah, but he's saying that if you put the sheet over her, like
then
over
she'd
her
be
face,
dead.
But I just want to read some of this. Opening the cutout to allow genital contact, but maintaining a barrier between them. So you had never heard of this before, but I
made it up one time. Yeah,
my daughter, the one that just got married. Watch Tuesday's episode of the podcast. I can't even talk about it. In any case, she was doing a marathon. We were up super early. We were waiting for nothing was open. We were up that early, and it was Mother's Day.
Yeah, it's great.
And so Doug starts doing an impression of someone without a foreskin who is Indian. Might have been one of our friends. I'm not really sure. And he said that he uses his foreskin and he uses an elephant. His penis is like an elephant. He uses it to pick up a peanut and flick it in his mouth. It's so much funnier when he does the accent. And then he started
that story lasted for like a full hour.
It's how we passed the time.
We did.
But
we
the
had
problem
nothing.
is that Noel and Anna and I don't know if Victoria was there or not. We had to fucking run inside and pee because we were laughing so hard and we were dying for the restaurant. We're like, we just have to pee because we were dying. And so in any case, the motivation for engaging in cheating can vary from cultural and religious beliefs, concerns about pregnancy or sexually transmitted infections. A sheet is not going to protect you,
especially a sheet with a hole in it.
It's not going to protect you from STIs. It might reduce the transmission of crabs. I don't know. Or personal preferences related to intimacy and privacy. Actually, I don't ever want a new man to see me. I don't even really want you to see me naked. So I think what I'm going to do is if you die or I decide to have an affair, which is possible, I'm going to just put in my personal ad.
Don't look at me.
Sheet sex. Be having sheet sex.
Sheet sex. What about curtain sex?
I don't know about that.
Glory hole sex?
I'm not doing glory hole sex. That's for boys. It's important to note that sheeting may offer some level of protection against pregnancy and STIs. It is not as if I don't believe that for a fucking second.
I don't think that's working.
It's not as effective as maybe they fuck through the sheet. It's not as effective as other methods. Additional engaging in sexual activity with a sheet or barrier may not provide adequate protection against STIs.
This is ChatGPT. It doesn't know anything.
But who does this?
Who does this?
Practice, various individuals
and couples.
Is it specific?
I'm sorry. We have a live alert. The Archduke is here.
Charlie, we were just talking about you. I don't know if we're in a fight or not, but what's up? We should chat soon.
Tommy Milmore thinks that the sheet thing came from Orthodox Jew sex. I think you might be right.
It doesn't say anything about Jews here.
Well, that's ChatGPT. ChatGPT is racist or anti-Semite. GBT.
Not all. Okay, but so the thing about ChatGPT is it's super politically correct. It has a bunch of things it's not supposed to tell you, and you have to but like if it has a question, like you can't like how do I make $1 million in the stock market tomorrow? It will not tell you that. It used to. But if you ask a question,
it's like rubbing a genie lamp.
If you ask a question enough times in the right way, it will give you the answer. And it's often wrong. So you have to like babysit it.
Do you ever ask it, how do I get people to follow me like Charles Manson?
Which
so all right, wait, I gotta collect that. So Daniel, his ugly girlfriend, she was better dead and the sex would be the same. Then Daniel agrees that Orthodox Jews might do it, and Tracy says the Amish, and Archduke is waiting for winter to come. That's the problem with living in a dome with that's like fabric, right? Is it cold?
I heard. Well, his generator was out. Todd had to go over.
Oh, extra.
This is where it gets really fucking funny. So when we had gone back to Massachusetts to hang out with, we had like a legal and financial matter to deal with. So we stopped in and had dinner with a bunch of our friends, a bunch of the haters, a bunch of people here tonight. And we're at the table, and it's my friend Todd, my friend Gautam, Indian guy, generator guy, Charlie, who lives in a dome.
Yeah,
and my friend Zach, and also David was there, and Ann and Tracy and
like
the whole world was fucking there. It was fantastic. We had a great time. But this week, Gautam needed Zach's number so Zach could fix his HVAC, and Todd went to Charlie's house to fix his generator.
Where would anybody be without us?
And
we're
now,
like the glue.
Now Tracy lives in Georgia. I'm going to introduce her to Kristen. They're all going to be friends.
She lives in Orville Redenbacher, Georgia.
You just keep making stuff up. Charlie, you should definitely watch the movie. What is it called again?
Salt and Buka. Salt Lamp. It's called Saltburn.
Saltburn. Watch Saltburn.
Don't watch Saltburn.
Tom says Google says the sheet thing is an urban legend. All right, listen.
I know, but I'm going to get one.
Okay, well, I'm not having sex with you anytime soon.
I'm still getting one.
Okay, what are you going to have sex with your pet? You're gonna have to get a pet first.
I don't know. There's that plaster Caesar head over there. What else can I?
The plaster Caesar head. Yeah, but what's the point of the sheet if you're gonna do it to an inanimate object?
I don't know.
If you're gonna do it with a pet, I think that would be the way to go.
Like an octopus?
Well, because then it's like weird.
A goat?
Like if you have a pet and you're gonna have sex with your pet, and your pet is willing and consenting in this activity because doesn't know any fucking better. I still think that stingray is pregnant with a biologist's kid.
Somebody got some splaining to do on that one, Lucy.
Then maybe that's the time you do it with a sheet. Like it's from the farmer culture. Farmers put a sheet over their sheep.
Wait. My Jewish heritage is chiming in. Do Orthodox Jews have sex through a sheet? This is probably the same thing that Tom found, so I apologize.
Saltburn. It's a movie.
It's one word.
God, watch it. It's fucked up. I talked about it at the beginning of the podcast. You're gonna have to rewatch it.
Origins of this myth sometimes described as zitzit, or fringe garment worn by many observant Jew men under. I didn't mean Jew men, Jewish men under. Yeah. What? How did I say?
Tracy says she loves the different name of her city every night.
It's a four-cornered garment that has ritual
that's
fringes.
Just a thing with the strings that the kid wore. Yeah. We called it a vestige.
No, there was a Jewish kid in the vestibule. So of course we started calling the things that hung down.
Well, it had these like little strings on the bottom. The kid was he was dating our daughter, and he ended up being not so great and cost us small fortune with a septic repair. Do not flush condoms down the toilet, you fucking idiots.
And Charlie says, "Oh wait." Charlie says, "Do not have sex with pets." All caps, people.
That sounds like you tried to have sex with a
looks
pet
like
and it didn't work out.
Looks like you got burned one too many times on that one, Archduke.
What if the pet is into you?
Yeah, well, who are you to say no?
But I will tell you this: if you were married to Hank from Breaking Bad,
don't.
He is not standing for his wife having sex with their dog. He does not like that at all.
All right, so Daniel says he used to date a former dominatrix. She told me that one of her clients was an Orthodox Jewish guy, and said he insisted on a sheet with her with a little hole in it.
Maybe that's like the loophole, the cheating loophole for the Orthodox Jews.
Yeah, well, maybe if you're going to a dominatrix, you want to cover some.
There's some stuff in the Orthodox Jewish community that I have some questions about.
Unless you were Scottish, Charlie says, and I don't think sheep are considered pet. Those are livestock, beasts of burden.
You can have
and part of that burden is that you're going to fuck it.
You can have a pet sheep and accidentally tie it to the tailgate of your car and drive off.
Yeah, I told Claude I wasn't going to say that.
Somebody we
Okay.
know did that. They forgot that their sheep was tied to
It
the
is-
back of their car and they drove away.
When they got to where they were, the legs were a little shorter and the nose was a little shorter.
It's like almost as much of a bloodbath as Saltburn.
I'm probably about 9 years old here in this story, dying,
I
laughing.
can't believe you
like
didn't
I
tell
felt
me you
awful.
were 9
but
years old.
I was pretty young. Yeah, I might have been 10, 11, maybe. But yeah, that's a funny story when the nose was shorter. And I don't think my uncle was like really like making a joke about it, but I thought it was hysterical. But then again, I'm kind of a problem.
You were an 8-year-old boy at the time, and
I'm
you're an 8-year-old boy now. That's okay. I am too. I want to tell you the
Okay.
Dr. Phil stuff before I forget.
Okay,
So Dr.
all right,
Phil
yeah,
was on. Wait till Doug tells you about the bath he's going to take. Dr. Phil was on Rogan. I definitely recommend watching this. For those of you who don't know, Rogan is somebody who would describe himself as a progressive, liberal leaning, but he's also a gun guy. So he's moderate. I think.
I think he's more conservative than liberal. For me, anyway.
I think that not the problem, but like
the problem.
The definition of liberal has really changed quite a bit, right? Like, I mean, there's the outliers, and then there's like what
I just remembered we met some people at like a restaurant we had some late lunch at the other day, and the guy's like sitting down there, goes, we could have a conversation, you're from Massachusetts, whatever.
Mhm.
And so Stacey's like, well, I probably more agree with you, whatever. And she's like, really? He goes, yeah, I'm more conservative. He goes, he's a liberal. And I just lean over and I go, I am woke ass, sir.
He is not woke ass. That's
but I will rile anybody.
Charlie says, if sheep are considered livestock, then I don't know what to say. Sheep can be considered livestock, a girlfriend, or a pet, whatever you want to do.
Or just any port in the storm.
So, yeah, that guy, okay. But the guy that looked just like Jim.
Oh my God, it was crazy.
We talked about it the other night on the podcast. Not the point. So,
all right. So Dr. Phil.
And Dr. Phil was funny because I was talking to Christina today, and she goes, "Isn't he like a wicked liberal?" And I'm like,
Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't have.
I had no idea. Yeah. Well, I know he's friends with Oprah. He was friends with Oprah.
Oh,
I don't know what
Oprah gave him a start. Yeah.
I don't know if they're still friends or what the deal is. He actually, Oprah was being sued by the meat people because she said she would never eat ground beef when she found out what goes into it, meaning the pink slime. We don't buy that kind of shit. But she was all like on stand for days,
right?
And
They
were going to sue her for millions of dollars, and he coached her through it. So then she gave him a spinoff, and he's written like 6 books, and he just wrote another one, and it's coming out on like the 25th or something, maybe Monday, I don't know. And it's like the country's all fucked up is what it's called, and it's basically a plan for fixing America.
Okay.
And he's launching his own network because he wants there to be political discourse where people can have a discussion about the issues and and have the facts, as opposed to the news now. So he's got Ann Coulter,
okay,
what's his name?
Well, there's a tinderbox waiting to happen right
there. Mike Rowe.
Yeah.
There was like 4 or 5 like big names that have already.
So far, not sounding too liberal, or too balanced, but hopefully.
No, but it was just.
It's a good idea. I just want somebody to do it and have it work. But
Dr. Phil's new network. So the new network is
philnet.com.
Yeah, they haven't.
Philo.
So it's going to have 2 live news shows. Morning on Merritt Street, co-hosted with former Houston host Dominique Sachet and Frankenstinger. The news of Merritt Street. Chris Gutierrez. So they're going to have 4 hours of news a day. And his big thing is that he wants there to be, fact-based news. If there's going to be discussion, it's going to be bipartisan, so people can have an intelligent conversation. That's his goal. And I don't know, if you listen to I want to do something different. I'm really proud of what we did for 21 seasons on CBS, but I want to do something with a broader platform and wire guardrails. To that, I need more than an hour a day. All of it is based on the value system I've really developed over the last 25 years. And so he's planning on starting his own network. And this article just goes into a whole bunch of stuff about him. But it was funny because he was talking to his wife about how like the news is all so like incredibly biased, and how it's not just biased, but it's also like it's not news. It's like it's an editorial, and half of it's a propaganda machine. And so I guess he was complaining to his wife about it, and she goes,
Well, why don't you do something
about the media? And she goes, well, you are the media. And come to find out, he has a bigger audience than CNN, C-SPAN, Fox News, any of those. So that's what he's going to do.
I thought he had kind of like I haven't heard from him in a while. Like I didn't know if his show was still. That's just
it's not really something I pay attention to.
All right, so we're
Nolan's here.
Oh, nice.
Nolan.
What's up?
I'm waiting on some clips from you, Noel.
Yeah.
What's going on, kid?
Running around. All right, I just want to catch up. I do think that we've sort of disproved that it was a Jewish thing for the sheet sex.
It is or isn't? I'm not sure.
No, we think it's not. Ian says hi, Charlie, and the Archduke says hey, Anne. And Milmore laughs at Ann Coulter, as well he should, being a New Yorker, and she called the 9/11 widows harpies.
I missed that.
Love this concept. And then Dr. Phil needs to have Ron White as an anchor. Yeah, this is the. I don't think Ron White's very liberal.
Listen, conceptually, he wants to have intelligent conversations, requires open-minded people. I don't think you have to have open-minded people to have intelligent conversations. I think you have to have intelligent people. Yeah. And if you want to have things change, you have to have open-minded people, but you can't force someone's mind open. Although drugs seem to help.
Well, here's the thing. I think everybody thinks their mind is wide open until they really. Well, then you have to really think about it. You got to and then you weigh it. Whatever.
But that's something you've said, like during.
I think I thought I was super open-minded, but like you're open-minded to a point, right? So if you're like you're open-minded from the left over to the right, but then this whole part of the right is off limits to your mind. So when you open that up,
but that's
you can
not necessarily a political. I mean, are you saying specifically in regards to politics?
Kind of. No, I mean, yeah, probably just for politics.
Oh, I thought you were saying about it in life in general.
No,
I mean, don't get me wrong. In terms of politics, you thought you were open-minded until we had a conversation, and I mean, I like to think I make intelligent points. But I think it just in life in general, like I'm super open to whatever, and I'm like non-judgmental, and there's some things that bother me. I have some pet peeves. I fucking hate cyclists, but other than that, I'm generally very like open and accepting of everybody. And you can be a little Dougie judgy.
I know what's right.
By being married to him. Charlie says no thanks on the drugs offer. You have opened your mind plenty with drugs. Yeah,
your mind needs to stay where it is.
And Daniel says the sheet idea is to ensure that there's no enjoyment. I don't even know what to say about that.
I don't know. I'd probably still enjoy it.
But Nolan's watching. Nolan, if you're gonna have sex tonight, make sure there's a sheet between you and your man. What?
He also tuned in late. He doesn't even know what the hell we're talking about.
So here's the thing: like we're talking about practicing safe sex, and that's in the conversation I've had with Nolan and many other, especially of the young gays, is listen.
Young gays.
You may not be getting someone pregnant, but I personally know five men who are HIV positive.
I don't know any men.
Yes, you do. Yeah. No.
Milmore?
No.
Holy shit. Tommy.
Don't say that.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But you want to be careful. But I was talking about using two forms of birth control. Like if you're a dude having
bag over the head.
Bag over the head is not a form
bag
of
over
birth
the
control.
penis.
Yeah, but and it's not birth control. Like I don't know. Just do things. I don't know.
Just do things. You're just telling my son to just do things.
No, I'm telling everyone else just to do things. Nolan, give him a hand job or a blow job so you don't get pregnant.
My son would never get pregnant.
That's true. Your son will never get pregnant. In terms of politics, me and Stacey disagree regularly. Everybody disagrees with me regularly. I disagree with myself regularly. You should talk to Ann about politics.
Pretty sure I'm not going to agree.
Ann, I'm sorry. I'm just taking that one off my plate and handing it right to you. You can have Charlie. And Daniel says, it's the same Muslims do female circumcision. I'm not a fan of that. I like the circumcision, and like I don't think that we should circumcise women. Although I could use like a little trimming. I got a little extra.
But that's not what the circumcision is.
No, they removed the clit. The external clitoris part. They
removed the button.
But in turn, they do remove part of the labia minora. I can't even look at it. I'm not. My problem is I love your cock.
Thank you.
No, it's a problem in so many ways.
It's a problem.
But you're circumcised. Thank you.
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Dr.
By,
and Mrs. Gear. And
Dr. somebody back in.
you don't remember the name of the doctor that circumcised you?
No, because it was probably not the same guy that delivered me. I know the
Well, we
guy.
could
who
sue
delivered
him
me.
for that scar. You
I think it makes me look tough.
don't have. I was gonna say there goes your career in porn, but if it makes you look tough,
I don't know. Maybe I'm like the Lee Marvin of porn.
the only way to make any money is gay porn.
Well,
First time fairies. That's what they call it.
I know, but like I'm not. I don't know. Have to be a lot of money, I think, for me.
Side note: my friend posted one of those things. Say how you know me or
Oh,
how we
yeah.
met, but lie. And I said you were signing autographs at a porn convention that I accidentally walked into on my way to church. It escalated from there.
You know how many porn activities I've walked into by accident on the way to church?
You don't go to church.
Now here's too much information. Tracy's dad had to get circumcised as an
know
adult. No
somebody-
fun. They're not good.
I know somebody that had to have it done at 35, and I know somebody who had to have it done at 12. Yeah.
Daniel says, Doug, just tell people you got the scar in a bar fight. I tell people
What
I got.
gay bar was he at?
I
With
tell
his dick
people
out?
it was braces. Some chick with braces.
In any case, I think it's unnecessarily cruel to circumcise. It reduces sensation. It's a massive procedure on an infant. But I just don't want somebody to have it later. And yeah. And Donna's gonna call it blind meat if you're not
Blind meat.
circumcised.
Donna, why do you call it blind meat?
She's not
Could you see if you pulled your hood up over your head?
I don't even know what to say about that. Daniel is rolling on the floor laughing. Hey, listen, all that matters is that you're happy with your penis. And if you have a condom on, nobody knows if you're circumcised or not. So do it that way.
Yeah, no, nobody see the scar.
And if you think somebody might be resistant to give a little sucky, just pull your little turtleneck down. Nobody will notice.
You know what you do? You put the sheet. I don't know what
The sheet isn't going to hide.
I don't know what the sheet does for anybody. Put the sheet over the lady or the man's face.
And so
and do your business.
the other one that was on Rogan.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of conversations. They were talking about the border crisis.
Alleged border crisis.
No,
Well, those truckers were going down there to stop everything, and nothing happened.
So apparently, when you cross the border, there's the Texas Border Patrol and there's the Federale Border Patrol. One wears green uniforms, one wears brown uniforms. I'm not sure which. So if you're an illegal planning on crossing the United States, you need to look this up for yourself. I can't be held responsible for you being detained or not detained. But apparently, what they're doing is that if you get caught by one of the Texas guys, you're getting sent back. If you get caught by one of the federales, they're giving you a bunch of fucking money, a bunch of services.
I thought you meant federales being on the Mexican side.
Well, federale, I guess, is the Mexican term, but like on the American side.
So
on
like
the American border, you can either get caught
federal
by
agents.
a Walker Texas Ranger,
yeah,
and they're going to send you back, or you can run into the United States federal government Rangers, and they're going to be like, here's some snacks. Here's some money.
Like
here's some health insurance. Here's this. Here's that.
I don't know if they're giving them snacks and health insurance.
They do give them food.
Well, they might, because that's like a humanitarian thing. They're probably coming over this border. I have solved this problem. We have talked about this for years. So Daniel got snipped 25 years ago. So I know that you're not 25 years old.
Pixar, it didn't happen.
I don't want to need to see that. That looks tender. So yeah, we could have a Daniel circumcision night on the podcast and ask him a bunch of questions. So my way to stop border crossings, right? You want to stop this? You put in all right. So you want windmills, right? To charge your Tesla. Put windmills at the border, but you know what you do? You put them nice and low. So if people try to go under the windmill, they get chopped in half. We'll keep the half.
About that many times.
We'll keep the half. Mexican keep that. Mexico
and I
keeps the half.
want people to come to the United States. I just want them to be able to do it legally. And there's one of the things that they talked about was how many people were coming over the border, specifically men in excellent shape. And by the way, coming from other countries, but going through Mexico, that they were coming over. They're in military fighting shape. They're like some of them in military boots. And what their concern is that, and they talked it was really eye-opening. So they were talking about, and by the way, I don't normally get like all worried about global affairs, because I fear my own government way more than anybody else's. But they're talking about how China and Canada and a lot of other countries own land in the United States. And part of the problem was that the Chinese have been buying lots right next to military posts. And they showed maps of it on the Rogan episode. And so,
all right, who knows this? Where did this? I mean,
it was on Rogan.
Saying.
Dr. Phil and Rogan were talking about it. Dr. Phil and Rogan were talking about it, and they were pulling up various clips.
All right.
So, research it yourself. But I'm sharing what I learned that I was like, that's some information right there. And so there, like, there's laws pending right now to stop foreign governments from buying land in the United States.
Yeah.
And there's also pending legislation to keep them from buying that close to a military post. So, but here's the thing, and it was funny because Rogan goes, well, I don't play Starlink, but if you're playing Starlink, that would be the way to win. So basically, like, it's like risk, like they're coming, like if you theoretically, and I don't know that this is true or not true, but theoretically, you could come into the country, send over 100,000 whatever people over to the United States, disperse them around the country, and that would put you up in a position for a good war on American soil. But
how are they going to get
America's not the only country having this problem. It's
how are they
going to
get the people, and then they're going to have the munitions, and I guess they could, because we have.
It's easy to get guns in this country. Just go to a gun show.
I found out recently, and this is interesting, that the Canadian border, most of it there is clear cut for 100 yards. Like the whole way.
Yeah.
And I actually looked it up on Google Maps. It's actually really cool. But if you're on Lake Champlain, there's nothing you could just. I don't know how they, if you jump a boat in there, go to Canada,
you probably
come back.
could go to Canada. They're having problems with illegals there, and they're like they were talking about Trudeau and problems in Canada in terms of parental rights. Like, it was a really good pod.
But I will say this: how bad does your country need to be to want to come to this country?
Not
right
everybody is coming here for a better life. Some people are.
Are they coming to mow us down?
Some people are coming here for a better life. Some people are coming here to, for nefarious reasons, and therein lies the problem. And that's why we have a process.
Nefarious.
Daniel says anyone who needs an asylum can walk through the port of entry for free. Anyone walking through the desert is not an asylum candidate. But they are. So what happens is, so they give. I can't find a reputable source for what they give away at the border. Like, they're all like conservative. Like, no, they're not necessarily conservative, but I realize if I use these as a reference, I'm going to be like, who the hell is the National Immigration Forum? And AP News says no, migrants don't receive $2,200 each month. Okay, but what do they actually receive? Like, I want to know what they get. But this is like National Immigration. Actually, that might be a legitimate source. I just didn't see a source that was
you can't. I mean, who knows what?
Who knows what they're actually receiving? But they are. So okay, I'm just going to read this. So if you are caught by one of the federal agents, what they do is they're like, okay, welcome to America. Here's a bunch of stuff. We'll identify.
Allegedly.
No, there's definitely stuff that they get.
Well, they should get like a toothbrush.
But they're giving them, part of what they're giving them is a court date that is in like 8 years. And so, of course, during the 8 years, they have lived here for a while. They're in the community. They own, home or business or whatever. They have children that are American citizens. Right. So basically, they're free and clear.
So what is, like, I guess, what's the other option? You just turn them away? Like, what do you like? I don't know. I don't know a lot about this, so I'm just like kind of saying, like, all right, so
they're letting everyone in.
I don't know if they're letting everyone in.
They're letting,
because I've read some stuff. I've read enough that
if you get caught by the Texas Border Patrol, they send you back.
Right.
They're letting people over. They can't even. Here's part of the problem that they're having. This was a big topic on the podcast. Is that they have all these kids that are coming over the border, and they used to do during the Trump administration. They were doing, or I think Trump and or Obama, they were doing. Don't quote me on that. They were doing rapid DNA to make sure that the children belonged to the person they were with at the border.
Yeah, I remember that.
They're not doing
that. But they
anymore.
were separating them and putting them in cages.
And they know, and now that that was back to Obama.
Yeah, no.
As well.
Well, I know Obama bought the cages, and I don't know if they ever used them. So who knows?
So, so they were like, what's happening is these people are bringing the kids over the border, and all we can't confirm that they're related, or some are even like by themselves. And we're like, well, where are you going? And they call a phone number and say, are you ready for okay, you have to pick them up. And they just put them on, but it could be sex traffickers. It could be sweatshops. And they're like, They are like 100%. They are going to sex church. And this was Dr. Phil interviewed a border agent, and he was like, they're 100% going through for sex trafficking, and they're 100% going to sweatshops, and there's not a fucking thing we can do about it. Because that's the way the policy is
not
currently
hire. We could not hire illegals for one. We could not.
Yeah, but that's
hire
not.
sex
But
workers
I mean, like
for
the
another.
children, well, yeah, well, but I mean, the people that are paying to molest a child aren't really law followers.
That's pretty much.
So, in any case, they give they talked about so this is from NILC.org, National Immigration Law Center, overview of immigrant eligibility for. Oh, so they talk about what they're eligible for: lawful permanent residents or LPRs, people with green cards, refugees, people who are granted asylum, withholding deportation removal. So basically, these people coming over the border, Cubans, Haitians, blah blah blah, certain abused immigrants, but these people are eligible. They are generally denied to non-qualified individuals. The law prohibits non-qualified immigrants from enrolling in the federal benefit public program. But the welfare law's definition doesn't specify which programs are covered by the term, blah, blah, blah. So there's some fine print in there that some people may not be eligible. And then there's exceptions and verification, blah, blah, blah. But most people are being given TANF. Is that temporary? Is that like food stamps? Medicaid and CHIP. CHIP, I think, is the food one. TANF. TANF is
temporary assistance for needy families.
Yeah, so money from the government, Medicaid, health insurance from the government, and it is CHIP. CHIP is Children Health Insurance Program, so it's health insurance for children. So they're basically, given all of the benefits that American citizens are giving, and they're paying for prenatal care. They're paying for they're like basically everything's covered. It's SNAP is covered.
23 states it says.
That's 23 states that will cover the I said use federal funds for provide federal care. So they're eligible for SSI. So they are eligible for a lot. I mean, basically anything that people are eligible for through public assistance. But
Congress imposes harshest restrictions on immigrant seniors and immigrants with disabilities who seek assistance. Although advocacy, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So SSI is slightly harder to get. Like I mean, SSD is hard to get. It took me 3.5 years. But it's definitely a lot.
But these people didn't pay into the system, so I don't know what they would get for Social Security benefits.
Because if you have SSI is income based, you don't have to pay into the system. SSD is not. But they're saying it's hard. So maybe there's some minimum amount they give you if you're disabled, even if you didn't pay into the system. I don't know. There wasn't before. So my point is that they had some it was very political. They're talking about the station. They're talking about problems in this country. They talked about Dr. Phil's book, which is like how to fix society. And I thought it was a really interesting. And you may not agree with them. That's okay. Just watch it because you'll be like, you'll have stuff to research. You can get back to us and we don't have to do the work. Where is my window? So let's read the contacts.
You might not want to read Daniels. It's got a.
I'm a legal immigrant. I worked on the Mexican border for a few years. I've approached by 2 coyotes hoping to recruit me to haul people from El Paso to Fort Worth. Okay, we don't like to use words like that. Use that word. A lot of people have come to this country legally. My grandparents.
Daniel, where are you from? I don't even know where Daniel's from.
Daniel's from Citrus.
No, but he said he's a legal immigrant.
Where are you from originally?
From somewhere.
Ann says not to talk out of school, but most of my clients are men in the high-end 80s are circumcised, which is very surprising to me. And none are circumcised. Well, if they were born on a farm, they wouldn't be.
Like my dad was born on a farm, and I don't think it got popular in America till like the 50s, maybe 40s, 50s, right in there.
Anne says they are offering these people to join the military. Now that I support. If they wanted to say, if you do however many years in the United States military, you can have a path to citizenship, I would be 100% behind that. Although if we have questions
Yeah.
about their loyalty, that could be a question. Anne says, I saw that on Stacey, I saw that today with Dr. Phil. Like on Rogan or on Dr. Phil? I didn't watch the show. And Daniel says, People's Republic of Canada. Got your toque, eh? Toque is hat in Canada. And peep is blowjob. Well, maybe
that's my favorite Canadian word.
I've seen some interesting flavors of peeps as of recent, by the way.
Oh, I saw cotton candy one look good the other day.
That one's so bad, but no sugar.
Peep.
Oh, we are been booted
See
off
ya.
Instagram. Fuck you, Instagram.
That's not nice.
So then the other episode was Kid Rock.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the Kid Rock episode like primarily focused on one of the big topics that they talked about was the whole Bud Light thing. And so Kid Rock was like, he's like, I was just fucking pissed because like I don't have a problem with transgendered people. And little known fact, Kid Rock has a son that's black, well, mixed race, obviously. And he has a lesbian drummer in his band.
Yep.
A black lesbian drummer. She's fantastic, by the way. And so at one point, their front row of their shows, and he's got this is actually super sweet. He did some Make-A-Wish stuff, and one of the kids he did had Down syndrome, and Kid Rock's just become friends with him. Like he's gonna be friends with him for the rest of his life. He's got like 3 or 4 kids with Down syndrome that are at every show, and he's got the lesbian set in the front row looking for her, and like whatever. He's just like it's. I know people have this idea of him and what he is, but it's really interesting to watch. And he, of course, he was like, oh, Trump's my guy. Trump's awesome. Trump's this, Trump's that. He talked about Trump a lot. But he also talked about the whole Bud Light thing. And he's like, listen, I was just fucking fed up. Like, I don't care if people want to transition, but I don't want this. I don't want this promoted to our children. And I think most people agree with that. Like, I think most
on
people,
a beer.
Well, on a beer too. But like, they did the same thing. Camel cigarettes promoting to children. I think. Do you think that? Do you think that it is responsible to begin gender transition for a minor child?
I have mixed feelings about that.
Okay.
I don't think the children aren't exactly brain developed yet, which is kind of a problem.
Not till age 25.
But if
you're lucky.
But there's a lot of parenting that needs to go into that. It can't just be like, okay, they come home to you and say, yeah, I want to be the other gender.
They've stopped it entirely in Europe because they've realized that we're ending their ability to reproduce. Yeah. We don't know what the long-term effects are. Like, there's a lot of concerns with it. If you're an adult, listen, if you're an adult, I don't want you to put any pharma in your body. I don't. But if you want me to help, if you want to borrow a dress, you're a dude, you want to borrow a dress, I will do your makeup. Yeah. I'm your girl. I just don't want anybody to put chemicals in their body. But I believe it's your right to put whatever crap you want in your body. If you want to put it on your body,
or if you want to cut pieces off of your body,
go fucking crazy. But I'm just not for kids.
Kids are tough. I wouldn't want a 16-year-old getting a tattoo. I wouldn't want a 16-year-old cutting off their penis. So
that's what they talked about that. And I want to read some of these comments. Daniel says, don't get me wrong. I'm a member of a Mexican motorcycle club. I love Mexican people.
I like Mexican people and Mexican food.
You can
I think he was
your friends. You can call.
He was calling them what they were calling them at the situation.
At the border, maybe. Yeah. But I just can't say that word. Tracy says she has a good hand technique.
Yes, she does.
Oh, I have a good hand technique.
Oh, yes, you do.
Okay. Well, why did she say I have a good hand technique?
I don't know why she said that.
That was random. Did I miss something?
It must have been another story.
Daniel says it's sadistic child abuse. I don't disagree with you. So here's my thing. So they talked about that, and he talked about, he's like, listen, I don't have a problem with trans people. I don't hate anybody. Right. He's like, I didn't like that it was promoting it to our children. I think it's insane. And
but the beer wasn't promoting it to children.
Yeah, the person
mixing metaphors.
So the person the person that they were using this I want to say Dylan Mullaney, but that's not the right person.
Dylan Mulroney. What was the guy?
I don't know.
LA Law,
it was not. It was this person who markets himself specifically. This person identifies as a young girl and is promoting specifically to young girls. So using someone like that to promote a beer is bad on so many levels, especially know your goddamn target demographic. Know your target demographic. Like, just fucking, we've talked about this before. So anyway, Kid Rock was like, listen, he's like, I shot up the beer cans because I was just like, oh, like, let's shoot something and like, let's make a point about this. And he's like, but the stock shares plummeted. They can't sell the fucking things. And there's like boycotts across the country. He's like, I don't want to put people out of work. He's like, so like, while I meant it at the time, like, that's not what I was looking for. So apparently Kid Rock, Donald Trump, and Dana White go into UFC to watch a fight.
Sounds like a joke, like a rabbi.
It's not though,
a priest.
but it's not, because Kid Rock and Donald Trump are like besties. They go golfing all the time. Kid Rock golfing. Okay. No so they so they're there, and Donald Trump goes, you know who that is? He goes, yeah, I know who it is. It's the CEO of Bud Light. And they go over and talk to him. Apparently Kid Rock has all of the Bud Light people over to his house. Like, they broke bread together. They had a great time. They may have even done some shooting. And he had some ideas for them about how to change their brand, was honest with them. And apparently they hired like an agency out of like New York or something. And it was like a new agency. And of course they moved the headquarters, which was probably not a good idea. But they had this new agency, and the new agency had new ideas that were terrible. I want to know what agency that is, so no one uses them, because it's just marketing 101. What is your demo? But
I will say this. I wouldn't have known about Dermot Mulroney or the Bud Light crossover cans if it weren't for
I knew.
I wouldn't have known.
No, she was all over TikTok, like really, and she may still be. I don't know.
What's wrong with these kids today with their tick and their talks? So she meant the black lesbian drummer has good hand tick. That's more in the wrist.
Dude, she's fantastic. And then Daniel says, we don't let minors drink, drive, or smoke because they're too stupid at that age to make a rational decision on anything. Well, and that was the other thing they talked about, was like how actually Dr. Phil and Rogan talked about how pliable children are, and how you could basically convince a child to do anything, like offer them candy. Or other alienation type things. Oh, well, that's a topic we discussed before.
I will say this though, like if a child is having a really hard time, identifies with the other gender, there's a way as a parent to be supportive. There's a way for family members to be supportive of that.
You could be supportive of that before you involve drugs. So
yeah, no, I think well, so here's the thing. So if you have a child who has maybe a different sexual orientation than you thought they were going to have when they were born, and like then you're like, oh, you're going to embarrass me, and like there's a lot of stuff.
But there's a difference between the two. And by the way, one of the biggest groups that has come out against transitioning children is the LGBTQ community. There's a big group called Gays Against Groomers, and they're adamant. They want, like, they are more militant about transitioning children than any conservative on the fucking planet. Like,
they've lived the life that's
the concern that Tim Dillon's a gay comic. He's hilarious, by the way. He's on Rogan all the time. His concern was that there's going to be families out there that have that they have a gay kid, but because the trend is to transition the gender, they're going to mutilate them, and then they can't, and that there's people out there that want that, like, of course it makes their child somehow special. They want that cachet of, this is my trans child. And I've seen that there's people out there with it. I'm just saying, listen, watch it for yourself, decide for yourself. If you have an opinion, let us know. But so the Kid Rock thing goes on, right? So they're having the Bud Light thing, the Bud Light guys, and he's like coming up with different ideas because they want him to like market for them. And Rogan's trying to get Shane Gillis to market for Bud Light because he drinks like Bud Light like a fish. But Kid Rock was like joking with them. He's got a few ideas that they've been workshopping. He's like, I'm honest with people, and I don't want to I can't compromise my integrity, but I would do something if it was funny enough. And so one of the things that they talked about doing was, like, he'd be in the field, like, sweating his ass off with his shirt off, and he's shoveling, and they look down, and it's like just a big thing of fucking money because, they would have to give him a bunch of money to get him to endorse the product. And so apparently he became like friends with the CEO, like golfs with him. And apparently all water under the bridge. And apparently for his birthday, they sent him 100 cases of Bud Light.
Joke's on him. Now he's got to drink it.
I'm sure he will. And then Ann says Dr. Phil. So there was Dr. Phil and Kid Rock were both on Rogan. I recommend watching both episodes. They touched on trans and the border crisis in both. Actually, I don't think that they touched on the border crisis with Kid Rock at all. But then so they talked about like shooting. They were talking about archery. Like they talked about a bunch of different stuff And there's like a whole debate about the weight of a bow to pull, and Ted Nugent was brought up, and it was a whole thing. But there's a point where Kid Rock starts to fucking push Jesus hard on Rogan, and it was fucking hilarious. And all I could think of, and I had commented on the Rogan wall, I'm like, this is the best Jesus commercial since the Super Bowl. But Rogan was like, do you want to know the Lord? Sorry, Kid Rock, because Rogan's not a religious fella. And he was like, do you want to know Jesus? Jesus loves you. It was the funniest fucking thing in the whole world. It's probably in the last 10 minutes of the show, because Rogan was like, fuck you, get out of me. He didn't say that, but it was the general impression. I would like to talk about your butthole.
Oh. Sure, go ahead.
So we all have parasites, or we get exposed to parasites, and we do different things to treat parasites. Wormwood is a great tincture that you can get. Doug is actually taking it now.
I think I have parasites in my kidneys.
Papaya is great. You can get parasites everywhere in your body. And as a matter of fact, Lyme is technically a parasite. So you can do black walnut. You can do what was the other one?
Monolaurin you can do.
Monolaurin will help a little. Black walnut, mother's milk, believe it or not.
Some of that.
Goat milk, raw goat milk.
Right out the goat titty.
Papaya seeds, especially sprouted pumpkin seeds. They sell them at Costco. They're like $6.99 for a huge ass bag. Actually, I was gonna make some nut butter with them, and then use that nut butter to make smoothies or whatever. You make a smoothie. Hear me out.
Okay.
You get the pumpkin seeds. You put them in the blender.
Yeah. To
make nut butter.
Yeah.
And then you add milk.
Yeah.
Also anti-parasitic.
It's a milk
anti-parasitic.
Or some sort of
mushrooms. And when I say mushrooms, I mean the ones that trip balls and make you trip balls, and a banana. And then you can get rid of your parasites while you trip your balls off.
And the parasites are tripping while they're dying.
And then you can take a bath in milk. So I saw a TikTok video.
I saw this TikTok video today.
Charlie says, good night, everyone. Good night, Charlie.
Nice to see you, Archduke.
We missed you.
Yeah, we did.
So this woman on TikTok is suggesting you take a bath
in milk.
3 or 4 gallons of milk. And while you're in there, you just relax as best you can.
Relax.
And the tapeworm, if you have one, will poke its head out
out
your butthole.
Yeah, out your butthole.
To have a little milk. And you're going to grab that little sucker and yank it out. And then you're going to do it again in 2 weeks because you want to get rid of the larva. What do you think about that?
So in 2 weeks, the larva, plural, they're all going to come shooting out your butthole?
Maybe.
In the milk? So I asked questions about this because I was like...
I haven't been able to find a lot of information.
Well, yeah, because it was like kind of ruining milk for me.
Dan says good night, Charlie. Tracy says good night, Charlie.
And then we kind of talked about we should do this on the podcast, to sit in the milk in like a little tub.
What are you doing? I'm sitting in milk.
But then what? Like, how do you know the thing pokes its head out? Do you feel it? Like,
I think maybe you have to just like kind of.
Or do you have to have like a little
there,
like GoPro on there? I don't know what you do. So anyway, and it's got to be slippery when it's out there, I don't like. So
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Kind of gross. So
if they hear me out. In the movies, what was it called again?
Saltburn.
In Saltburn.
Yeah.
If the guy had been taking a bath.
Yeah.
In the tub with milk, and pulled a parasite out of his asshole.
And then the other guy licks the tub.
Would the other guy lick the tub, and then he would get a parasite for sure. Anne says, do worms shine different in a black light? Ooh, I don't know. That's the kind of question I think you would know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do worms? Well, so some of them
like a regular earthworm or like a
no. I think she means worms in your butt. So there's oh Jesus. Daniel says, DM me your phone number. I'll call you tomorrow and tell you about the guy with the tapeworm. Oh my God. All right, cool. It's you can just call me through Facebook Messenger. Just use Facebook Messenger to make a phone call. But I'll give you my number. I don't care. But I'll forget. And then Trey says tapeworms. So I don't know, but they're segmented and they have like grippers and hooks.
They have a
and
mouth
teeth,
like a lamprey.
and they're like
yeah,
in your
that- no,
intestines,
that-
and it grows more and more and more. Like, and there's
and
100
it's got little bumps on their
tapeworms and
skin,
whales.
and that's how they like eat their nutrients.
They absorb all the shit. Yeah, there's a burrowing owl over there, and he might have a tapeworm.
Probably
Oh, and
is.
apparently tapeworms live in multiple hosts, and then they die in their final host.
So it
So they'll
starts out
start
with
in
in a crab,
they'll
and then
start
it
in
goes to
an
a
ant.
fish.
If you see an ant that's yellow, it has a tapeworm in it, and then and it can control the brains. Parasites can control your brains. It's fucking crazy, which is probably why people are so nuts when they have mine.
So Tracy says, yes, their NASA reminds me of Tremors is one of the greatest films of all time. The
I've
first
never
Tremors.
seen it.
It's so good.
I've never
It's
seen
so
it.
good.
I'm really feeling kind of queasy. So why don't you do some of the news stories?
Oh, there was a lot of them because we're kind of
Behind.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wesley,
um,
content wizard.
All right, so we're gonna go content wizard. I'm trying to remember which one. All right, so
If you could mark that we use these stories, that would help.
Yeah. The lunar lander. This was a little. It's now on it landed on its side, and it has some of the antennas covered up.
Is this like launched by NASA?
It's launched by SpaceX, run by this intuitive company. It's called Odysseus. I watched the landing of it, but it was just them talking about the landing of it. So basically, it was coming in hot onto the moon at 4 miles an hour. Supposed to be 2 miles an hour. It's going 2 miles an hour one way, 4 miles an hour down, or vice versa. And it was just about and they think it hit a rock.
So
it just sort of, but they got a weak signal back, so they're like, okay, this is on the moon. And then they started receiving data, but it was a 15-second lag. So for 15 seconds, they didn't know if this thing blew up or fell apart or crashed and burned, right? So
that's probably up on the screen if you don't.
So they said it was long. So then they're like, we're getting data back, so it's on the moon. It was on the moon. It's transmitting back. So they think it's going to be able to do most, if not all, of what it carried out to do.
Because Elon Musk wants to colonize Mars, like that's his thing. Like he wants to colonize Mars. So I don't know what that.
Well, what this is doing, they went to the South Pole there because they think there's ice reserves down there, and they're like, if there's ice down there, that could be a good place to set up for like refueling and all this other stuff for a Mars mission.
Interplanetary travel.
So the cool thing about this was like they were trying to land it straight up. Right, but it got kind of knocked over, like if you're kicked over a trash can. But the thing is, they were coming down, and one of their landing instruments gave out.
Ooh.
But they had NASA.
Are there people in this?
No people on it. So
monkeys,
no dogs, no nothing. But all right, so but there is a sculpture that they brought to the moon of the moon.
Seems redundant.
It doesn't make any sense.
They should have taken it.
They should have, but like
my big fat ass.
Like the sun. Bring the sun to the moon. That's like something. All right. So, anyways, the NASA had these instruments on board, so they had to hack into this thing as it's hurtling towards the moon and see if they could use the NASA equipment to land the fucking thing, and they did. So, except for like it tipping over, they did a pretty good job.
Shout out to a shitload of engineers and scientists.
Yeah. So my thing on Facebook yesterday, I don't know if anybody saw it, is like these folks landed a craft safely on the moon. I did half a PowerPoint. This is a funny story. I don't know. Apparently, Katy Perry and Taylor Swift had a big feud, but Katy Perry went to a Taylor Swift concert and they sang that song,
Bad
Blood, together.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I don't think they have footage of it, but there they are. Look at that. Oh, look
I
at that.
also
So
heard
nice.
that Travis Kelce's basically like following her around like a little groupie and wearing like Taylor Swift bracelets and stuff.
Well, I do know that Travis Kelce ran a 5K for autism, so good for him.
I think that there's definitely some stuff that makes me think that the whole Travis Kelce Taylor Swift thing is a great big marketing plan that's been put on. Like maybe Taylor Swift is a lesbian, I don't know, maybe, but I feel like it's just a little, it's all coming together in a way that's a little too promotional to be like genuine.
Well, they're in the marketing business.
Tracy says, I have a friend that works at NASA.
Nice.
I made friends with a chick that worked at NASA. I'm Facebook friends with her, Frances. She was Italian. She was on her way back from Italy. I was on my way back from Poland. We got drunk on my birthday on a plane.
Nice. Happy birthday, by the way. Happy belated birthday. All right, so
It was like
apparently
a week before you met me.
they found a like a full intact like Chinese dragon fossil.
Cool as
They
shit.
think it was some sort of marine mammal that just looks a lot like a dragon. But that is a cool fossil right there. It's amazing how many cool fossils they're finding like day after day. All right, so that was pretty cool. Am I wait, I'm gonna stop sharing here. And then I'm gonna find the next one. A tube of lipsticks 4,000 years old on Earth bears striking resemblance to modern ingredients of lipstick.
I hope it doesn't, because what's in them now is terrible. Do you have a picture of that?
Yeah. Hang on.
Handheld test for breast cancer uses your saliva and gives accurate readings in 5 seconds. I gotta tell you, because of what I know about the Lyme community. Oh, Doug's pulling something up.
All right, so this is the lipstick.
Fancy. Is it from Egypt? Iran. Iran.
It's Persia right there. So yeah, apparently had similar. Egyptians made eyeliner famous. Apparently, Iranians were the first lipstick. It holds all the characteristics of modern makeup. Do you know why lipstick was invented?
Why?
To make your lips look more like a vagina.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Oh
that.
yeah.
Also, they have that. Their eyeliner comes out different. So instead of it's like a pot, and you put it in, and you go.
And you whoop.
You close your eye on it, and you go in it.
Oh, that's why they get the Egyptian cat eye thing.
The perfect eye every time. So
okay,
mine
so
look like a hot mess in relative comparison.
The lipstick was container was made of hematite. Hematite. I'm sorry, the lipstick was made so it was a deep red color, manganite, bronite, galena, angelcite, and plant-based waxes. What's a plant-based wax? I thought wax came from bees. The mixture bears a striking resemblance to recipes of contemporary lipsticks.
Interesting. You were talking about this. There's a so there's supposedly, and I'm going to pull this up while you're maybe looking for another story. There's now a handheld test for breast cancer, uses your saliva and gives you an accurate readings in 5 seconds. I would not trust that test. I also would not go for a mammogram. I would go for thermography. I would do self-exam. I would maybe get the BRCA gene testing, which, by the way, I've been going pretty heavily through my DNA report and finding out some fucked up shit. But
well, you're not a man, are you?
I am not.
Okay, good.
Not today, at least. But I might change my mind. But so here's the thing, because I have Lyme, or Lyme diagnosis, at least, one thing I have learned is that these tests are super inaccurate. Like the labs that you take are only as useful as the labs are reliable. So, if this is just like a saliva test and it might tell you if you have breast cancer or not, that's great. But like, are people going to be like, okay, once a year, I'm going to spit on this and then I don't have breast cancer. Like if you have risk factors, like even the BRCA test is even controversial, which is a lab that is supposed to tell you if you have the BRCA gene, which I do not have. But I do have I have like 3 other cancer genes. But I think it's great, but use it with like a big sense of caution and do some research on mammograms before you get your next one. Consider thermography. It might be a better option for you. Okay, go ahead.
So, sad news this week.
Wendy Williams.
She
is the same diagnosis as Bruce Willis.
Yes, aphasia. Yeah. But she's fairly young, right? She's
in her 50s.
Yeah. That's fairly young. That's like my age. That was one story, and then the other
she's
story,
59.
59.
Like
okay,
yeah. But she's had some trauma.
She's had a lot of stuff. So when I saw that, I kind of started to not believe it.
She was having some health issues. She was having some mental health issues, maybe some substance abuse. I don't really know the full. I don't know. That's why when I read it, I'm like, oh well, somebody's just trying to get her institutionalized so they can grab her money. But that's also possible too. But she's struggling, and there's been a couple of documentaries done on her. Like some are like she participated in, some not. And there's there are things that I like about her, and then there's things that like not so much, but she's a human being. And so, obviously we care about her, and we wish her well, and we hope that, or at least I hope that they'll explore integrative care, natural remedies. there's a tremendous amount that can be done through natural health for brain health, for longevity. And if you have like a family history of Alzheimer's, like there's things that you can do like CoQ10 and fish oils and a bunch of other shit. Do it and eat healthy.
I have a related story on that.
Most importantly, none of that fucking synthetic. Like, I'd rather have you have sugar than that fucking aspartame or any of the fake sugars. Don't do that. You can have stevia or monk fruit, date sugar.
And speaking of,
Daniel says, I'm falling asleep and talk to you tomorrow. Yes. And then is this related to Where is Wendy Williams documentary? I think that's this is different than the Where is Wendy Williams documentary, but the Where is Wendy Williams, I think, I could be wrong. I think this is just new news.
Oh, and also on a related note, the family of Brian Wilson, who you all know as two of the girls from Wilson Phillips, applied for conservatorship of Brian Wilson, who's the genius behind the Beach Boys. He's a phenomenal songwriter, and
also like a big time, like Mackenzie Phillips talked about how she had sex with her father for years.
That was Mackenzie Phillips. That was John Phillips. That was
different one.
Yeah. Well, the other girl, China Phillips, was his daughter.
I think she was the stepdaughter. Mackenzie was the stepdaughter.
Yeah, Mackenzie or something.
So the bottom line is China. I read an article about China Phillips, how she was the day of her wedding. Her father told her something that horrified her. She didn't say what it was, but it was really upsetting.
So, well, anyways, Brian Wilson has nothing to do with that. But anyways, Brian's wife, who was his second wife, was very good to him. They made a movie about it called Mercy, I believe it was, like Love and Mercy. And the wife was played by Elizabeth Banks, and Brian was played by the older Brian was played by John Cusack. So it's a very good movie. Anyways, I feel bad for Brian. He's was a genius. He brought a lot of great music to the world.
It was John Phillips. Okay, so John is her father, and so who is Brian Wilson?
So Brian Wilson was the guy in the Bee Gees. It was like three brothers on Bee Gees, then the Beach Boys.
So
three brothers, a cousin,
together.
and a cousin. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, Brian Wilson never worked with John. Then
Phillips. Why am I relating these people at all?
Because China Phillips, his daughter, was in Wilson Phillips with the two Wilson girls.
So I'm not completely crazy.
So no, you're not crazy at all. So so getting back to Wendy Williams and this, apparently in England they opened a preschool inside a dementia care home.
Brilliant.
I thought it was good until I realized that you say sometimes dementia patients will get hypersexual.
Yeah, but they're not going to get hypersexual with a child. They just get horny with each other.
This is
like they don't become a pedophile one day.
But like this gives these people like purpose. Apparently it was fantastic. They're starting to do this in the United States. But like even just they bring that kind of joy to
I have to tell you,
someone.
I fucking love old people, and like I was primarily raised by my grandparents, and of course this has been a really rough week for me. I'm probably gonna start crying again. But I was raised by my grandparents, and my mom was super young. Both my parents were super young. My mom was 16 barely when I was born. My dad was 17. My
barely
dad was
legal.
Off in the military. So I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and thank God, by the way, I would be like a crack whore without them. I just look like one. They took me to church like 2 or 3 times a week and like taught me to be prim and proper and enunciate my words, and apparently not very well. And, all of the things that they did. They were just so great. They were just awesome. And I always wanted to please them and make them happy. And this week I was like literally like last night, probably for like an hour and a half, just like sobbing and like crying that I want my grandma. And so she's dead. So I'm fucked. But like, I think that that's just such a great thing. And I think like, y'all, like if you have elderly people in your family, spend time with them. They are a wealth of knowledge. I have elderly friends.
I'm getting close, people.
I have several friends in their mid to late 70s.
Yeah.
Several. Actually one of them I talked to, like she's checked on me like 5 times a day for the last week. Thank you. And not this Ann. This Ann also checked on me, but she's younger than that.
She's a youngin'.
And but yeah, I mean, they're just, when you're a parent, you're constantly stressed out.
Yeah.
Constantly. Yeah. Like you're doing your best and don't know what the fuck you're doing, and you're just trying to figure it all out. But once you get on the other side of parenting, and maybe somebody let me know when you stop beating yourself up for all the things that you fucked up while you were raising your children. But maybe by the time I'm 80, I will. that you can, they have a patience and a wisdom that the rest of us don't have. And I think a lot of us, like, we think, oh, like the times have changed and they don't understand and blah, blah, blah. No, trust me, you don't know half the shit they know. They may not be able to fucking program your iPad, but they're going to be able to talk to you about, like,
wars.
Well, not just wars, but like I remember talking to so my friend Andrea she's a woman of a certain age.
Yeah.
And she whenever I have a question about, like, particularly the decline of society, so like one of the things, like, where young people are struggling as much as they are, and like all the problems that have come up basically since COVID, which, by the way, was a big topic that Rogan and Dr. Phil talked about, was the impact of COVID on education and the suicide rates and self-harm rates for young people. We may never recover. It's crazy. It's bonkers. But that COVID, Dr. Phil.
Old people.
So I'm just saying, bring I would talk. So I had asked Andrea, I was like, has society been like this before? And she talked about in the 70s how things were a little nuts, but she's like, no, not like this.
70s.
But that's the thing. You don't, like,
because
you look in a history book, we all know, or I like to think we know, that there's a lot of fucking propaganda in those books. A lot of information is left out. So for me, I want to talk to people. Like, I want to be like, what do you know about this? What do you think about this? Because I think that that's a more reliable source than the news.
That's true.
And then Tracy says dementia patients can be belligerent and physical with people due to confusion and frustration and not being able to communicate properly. Absolutely. So, I mean, I'm sure that they have, of course, a lot of memory care facilities have different, steps, meaning that they'll have like a level 3 that's a locked unit because people tend to wander or whatever it is. So like when my family has a history of Alzheimer's, so if you start to see signs in me, let me know. I do have some memory loss. That's the whole thing. So sundowners is really common. So like people will be fine all day, but the sun goes down and they're fucked.
I blame the moon.
Could be full moon tonight, by the way.
That tipped over trash can.
Tipped over trash can?
Tipped over trash can. Lunar lander.
Oh yeah. That I think sundowner syndrome is something to be concerned about. Anybody who can get violent or angry, but they're basically doing double duty because like they're like keeping an eye on the residents. The residents are playing with the kids. I think it's great. The other thing they're doing in a lot of places is they have like their rooms, but they set the door up so it looks like a house. So people want to make it look like it's more homey cool. and makes people feel more comfortable. I think it's fantastic.
So I have one last story here, but I think
want to read Tracy's comment real quick. Yes, my grandmother used to walk out the door at 9 p.m. and say she was going home. Poor thing.
That's no good.
My grandmother used to curse in Portuguese because they would have to lift her out of the bed, and that's the only Portuguese words I knew for the longest time was curse words, and they wouldn't let me go back because I was saying "fuck a god."
I saved this for last because this couple converted a 40-foot school bus into a home.
We doing it?
Let's
at them pulling that Jeep.
Look, but look at this bus. This thing is amazing. All right, so I haven't looked at the inside because I was saving it for the pod. So with housing prices nowadays, but you got to work. You got to work like almost around the clock.
Listen, I saw an RV that I love today for $120,000.
Little known fact that's the font of Marital Hate. Don't
What's
mind
the
telling.
font called?
Cute.
I just want to pull up. Jason Goo is a groupie tonight. He says, for the record, Doug's hair looks amazing tonight.
It does. I think it looks terrible.
Doug is long overdue for a haircut.
Stick it up and whatever.
Tracy,
but thank you.
That was,
or maybe he's being sarcastic.
He might be.
Oh, he might be. Yeah, I know.
Settle down, Kenny Loggins. Remember the time that Manny was like, "Doug, go get a haircut." Tracy says that is a fun memory, and she said, "Oh, fun! Like, are you being sarcastic? Because that sounds like it was scary." And she said, "Is that the bus from the Partridge Family?"
It may be. They're not using it anymore. All right, so there's their bed where Adventure awaits. So I hope. Look at them. They spent 2 years building their bus. I'm not going to show you the video. But inside you've got this double monitor situation. You got like a couch. Look at that kitchen.
Oh, I've seen this RV before. They've done a beautiful job on it.
You got steps up to
how they have their little pantry there with like all the glass.
I believe these are the people that they didn't want to work together, so one's at one end of the bus and the other's at the other end of the bus. But you'll see little things like their little magnet for their knives and their things.
I've actually
that's a lot of spices though. I don't know where they're going.
It's not all spices.
It looks like spices.
Like their pantry, honey.
Maybe some oils, some dry goods.
It's their dry
It's
goods.
dry goods.
So a lot of people in the RVs will use the magnets, and most people say they never have a problem with them falling off.
Oh, that's good. So it looks like they got a little herb garden here going
That's
for
beautiful.
they need less spices because of that. Then there's their little shower right there.
It's like a full. I've seen bus conversions with bathtubs.
That's a pretty. That's got to be a 36 by 36.
What I want to know is what kind of toilet that is.
That's an interesting toilet.
That's not a separate. That's
No,
it might be a separate. It's not a nature's head.
But it's got a foot flush, so it leads me to believe that it's a water thing. But look at this cute little sink they got here. This little rectangular
full shower.
situation.
They don't show the lady showering, which is
it's too
a little
bad.
unsettling. Keep going.
Yeah. And
is that it?
that might be it. And these are and if you have a prostate, they go in, and if you want to cut your electric bill, use a pencil and stick it in there.
Okay,
and a crazy way to clean your toilet.
Just stop. Why are you showing? Oh, this is the you're still showing your screen.
Yeah.
So it's 9:36. It's been a very long week.
And it's Friday.
Friday. We came in. Listen, Jason, you just got here and you're just getting in here in time to talk about Doug's hair. You missed the whole recap of the disturbing film called
Saltburn. Not to be confused with Salzburg, Germany. Although I don't know if I haven't seen the movie. We're just hearing it. Jason missed sex through a ceremonial sheet.
Well, he might have been here the whole time. You never know.
He missed some weird bathtub action. You missed, what else do we miss?
Just all kinds of nonsense. Just watch it.
Yeah.
Trace says that toilet looks like the one I have in my camper. It might be the same one. Let me ask you this. Do you have prime pooping position in your RV? If you are not familiar with prime pooping position, Matt from Matt's RVs, which is an RV review site, he's an RV salesman.
And every time he goes into the bathroom
and he goes, burr, 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 prime pooping position. And
if his knees are like, because he's kind of a chubby guy.
He has to have room.
Yeah.
It has to be a porcelain.
It's got to be
toilet.
porcelain. He knocks on it. And then he has to have his legs, and it's like, if he's crowded in any way, not prime.
You have to have room to shit.
Well, probably have room for after the cleanup duty. You can't wipe your butt like if you're.
Well, here's the thing: a lot of RVs. This is where it gets really funny. Okay, so there's a lot of things to know about RVs. RV toilets specifically. So there's the toilet that comes with it, right? And those are. They might be prime pooping position. Well, if you buy a leisure travel, you're going to have a good toilet out the gate. Some have shittier toilets. The higher quality of unit you have, obviously, the higher quality of toilet you're going to have. So they have a macerating toilet, which basically takes your poop through a blender so you can send it out the stinky slinky, so you don't have to worry about the poop pyramid. So if you have a regular toilet in an RV, which is an RV toilet. By the way, most RV toilets require men to sit down to pee because they have a shallow bowl and the piss will ricochet everywhere. Otherwise, if you don't, I have a friend who has an RV that stinks of piss. Yeah, it's not good. In any case, so the macerating toilet, if you have a regular toilet or regular RV toilet, you can get what's called a poo pyramid, where like a bunch of your poo stacks up and doesn't move properly through the system. So water is important, like lots and lots of water flushing it out. And so a lot of RVs will have a sink faucet sprayer thingy by the toilet, but it's not a bidet. But I think you could use it as both. Everything in an RV should be double duty, and you use it to rinse out your tank. But we've looked at other toilets. So there's the composting toilet, like the Nature's Head is probably the most popular.
It's like a litter box for humans.
But thanks to Roaming Royals, Art and Michelle, our RV friends who were in Mexico getting tattoos yesterday. Shout out to them. Hopefully they had a good time.
Hopefully they aren't catching Hep C.
First of all, they're not catching Hep C. Second of all, Mexico's healthcare system is actually rated better than ours.
My friend got a tattoo in Thailand, got Hep C.
Good.
Not a good decision.
So Tracy says, I have plenty of room in my camper bathroom. And she said, is it porcelain or is it not porcelain? Oh. So I think
we're going to be judging.
When we own an RV, we are going to have a separate toilet. And I appreciate Art and Michelle's hard work of doing all the research, because they've done it basically the way I want to do it. So we're just going to steal all of their research.
I don't think the macerator is a terrible idea. And the
macerator is not a terrible idea. But let me ask you this question. Do you want to be in charge of the poop hose?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. But in a macerator, it's not that big, like 3-4 inch Ideally,
Small
it's
hose.
a small hose.
Yeah, it's like you're pouring a smoothie out. But here's the thing. If you have a composting toilet or a separate toilet, or if you combine, you can have you could have an extra gray tank, or you could have an extra water tank as opposed to your black tank. So it's something to consider. Tracy says it's porcelain. Prime pooping position. Tracy says the first camper was not, and we had no room in that bathroom. Bathroom size is crucial. The RV that we like is the leisure travel Unity Lounge.
Murphy Bed
Lounge is the one that we like, I think, the most. And it has a full bathroom. Like, it's a shower and and this is in a like on a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter chassis with a wide body. It has one slide, and it has a full like corner shower, a toilet, a sink, and there's like plenty of room in there. The only one I've seen that's on that Mercedes chassis that has a bigger bathroom is I think it might be slightly bigger in the Airstream Atlas, but I could be wrong.
I think
the Renegade shower was small. Not Renegade, the Regency.
Oh, yeah, it was small. That's a problem. Your shower is always going to be on the small side.
No, because relative to our house on Surfside Road,
oh my God,
it was an RV shower. I swear to God, they put it in this house. It was so small. We would try to shower together.
We lived, it was impossible. It was like, So, anyways, it was one bathroom with a shower, and then downstairs was half bath with a laundry in it. So after we got the boot from that house, somebody sold it and bought it. Now there's 3 bathrooms in that house, right? I think.
Yeah, but it's terrible. There's 3. So they put in another in the master bedroom. They lost square footage, which you kind of could do, and put in another
bathroom with a shower. I think.
Yeah, it had a shower, which it's just interesting how.
But it's weird when you live in a place and you kind of know the quirks and stuff like that. Like you wouldn't have renovated it like that.
It's actually it's actually really interesting because this is So it's sold and they were renovating, and we actually poked our head in a few times when they were renovating it, just because we wanted to see, like, what are they doing? Because it's not what we would have done. We would have for sure. I don't think that they pulled permits, by the way. We would have,
but we're not saying nothing about nothing.
And we don't even know the owners, but they basically like turned the front lawn into more parking, which you needed.
Yeah, our front door was in the middle, and they moved it over.
The front door used to be over there. The kitchen, they moved
the hot water heater, which was in the middle.
There used to be this used to be a wall.
Closet. Yeah,
this was a wall. This was the dining room. This was the kitchen. They moved the front door. I don't necessarily disagree with this, but I probably would have done it instead of having this big bar. I would have just made the whole thing like a big kitchen with like an island in it and some stuff or whatever.
Or something. Yeah,
it's a weird traffic pattern, but and then so they opened this wall up, so you had a view. So this used to be our dining room. And then the kitchen is beautiful. Yeah, I wish we had that kitchen when we lived there.
Yeah, our kitchen was.
These were the same 2 windows. They haven't. Well, they put new windows in, obviously, but they moved everything around. So the stove used to be here. The dishwasher was
where it was. I think
that's where the dishwasher was.
Yeah.
And then, like, what's that space right there?
That's where the oven used to be.
No, I know, but what's that space there? Like,
it's like
why
it's just
didn't they
empty.
have it wrap around? Like,
that doesn't make any sense.
But yeah, there's just some. Do you see what I mean? It's like honestly, it seems to me like they didn't use a kitchen designer, but that they just threw some cabinets in. They got a wine fridge in an 1,100 square foot house. And then in our living room, we had a baby grand piano.
Over on the far right
lockers.
with the little
we had
chairs.
A huge ass sectional. We had our TV over here. So they just moved their dining room into that room and made the living room.
They put
area.
Those gray floors in. It's already dated.
Oh, it's so dated already. And and by the way, the house had beautiful hardwoods. Why they didn't finish them is beyond me.
So they pulled out the washer and dryer and put a little shower.
Ew.
And on here they put the stair runner and just painted everything.
So these bedrooms. These 2 bedrooms are teeny tiny. Oh, this is the master bedroom. Okay, so this whole. See how it slants over here on the left?
Yeah. It
was like that on both sides. And there was all this storage, which was great.
Yeah. So they pulled it in.
One closet. It looks like they pulled that.
That's got to be like a full. That's like a full bed. That's not even a queen bed.
That bedroom was nice and big, and they it was a nice big bedroom, and they basically chopped it in half. And then when you look at these other 2 bedrooms, there's one of the bathrooms that they added. Got queen
you've got
size
this bed under the
slant. Like, that's terrible.
It's nothing.
and everything's just kind of jammed in there. I mean,
that used to be my office where I had my desk up against that back wall, and I'd look out the window. It was kind of a nice setup.
I think this is the existing bathroom. I think that the pieces that they used were way too big.
Yeah, look at how are you? Yeah, and then they took one of the closets out and put the washer and dryer in there.
Yeah.
So they would have had to. They did a lot of plumbing on this existing house. So anyways,
like they did a lot of plumbing.
They didn't replace the storm shutters in the back.
No. There's a lot that they
and
did.
And then there's the ocean, which is the same as it was.
But this, by the way, I haven't been down there lately, but I guarantee you this entire thing is fucking covered in rocks right now.
Not too long ago.
In any case, it's just interesting.
Anyway,
it's like that's not what we would have done with it. We would have done sliders all along the back of the house.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that you can't just walk out into that backyard.
A huge walkout deck, sliders across the back. We would have dormered the house. We would have added a tub. And then
you know what?
We had it all worked out, but we didn't have that kind of money.
We didn't have.
What did they sell it for?
I want to say that either high sixes or six,
and then
it was
some money into it.
And so then they probably put, I don't know, maybe a couple hundred. Not even.
They didn't. I had done the math at one point. I think that they put $100,000 in, and again,
but that'll sell for $1 million.
I don't think they pulled permits.
People buy an oceanfront house for $1 million. I think they put an outdoor shower.
Let's see what the estimate is now.
They got rid of the shed. I don't know.
The current estimate is 1.3.
Yeah.
And they paid $975 for it. I think that
so
was they sold it.
Somebody
sold twice.
Yeah, somebody bought it, did the work, and then
we
sold
lived
it.
there.
Yeah.
I think it's sold twice since we lived there.
That's where we used to live.
Good for them.
$2,000 a month.
Yeah, $2,000 a month.
Yeah, we'll take it.
And we'll take it. In any case,
we'll take this. We got
hopefully you guys will get an opportunity to live in different places because we get tired of living in a house. So we pack our bags with sweaters and socks and scarlet leaves with gold and a frog who's a particular friend. We really, we kind of do. There's a book called We Were Tired of Living in a House. It's my favorite book from being a kid.
But right now we're poolside. I don't know if you noticed, it's 68 degrees and it's February.
Not so bad. I am feeling like a little queasy and nauseous, and it's 9:47 on a Friday night. Y'all should be fucking or doing your homework or
I don't
relaxing.
It's Friday.
Enjoying your
don't
night.
do your homework.
I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Do something fun. Tell us about it on Monday so we can live vicariously. Tag us. Let us know.
What are you grateful for? I'm grateful for this podcast. It made me laugh.
I'm always grateful for the pod and the people that come and support. We had a lot of people tonight, 6 people.
Yeah, we're 6 now, but we had Jason, we had Tommy, we had Sam,
plus the
Tracy,
Nolan,
and those guys. Yeah,
Pam and Beth. I don't even know how I know Beth, but.
And then we had
Charlie,
thumbs up
Sam,
from Pete Flores and Daniel. And then,
Daniel's here, Trace, Ann, Charlie.
Daniel's got stories for us. That'll be good.
Millmore, just everybody's here, and we're so thankful for you guys.
So,
Trace says, "I'm so thankful for you too. I'm thankful for being Friday this weekend. Kicked my ass. Isn't Bex off? Your imaginary wife. Where is Becky? I'm so thankful we have water tonight.
Skeptical.
Long story. I'm so thankful for my bed. Yeah, she's had a contractor going to town on her house for a while. I'm thankful for my bath. That helped a little bit. I'm thankful for this robe because it's clean and I haven't had clothes on for 3 days. I'm thankful for my friends who check on me. Thank you, Anne and
Becky is sound asleep.
And Tracy.
She's not letting this
Zach and Christina. Christina checked on me a lot. A lot. I love that she's sound asleep. You know what you could do? You just like take a little something and just right there, just on her head, and you take a little picture and you put it on the internet. But
would not want to be Tracy if she woke up halfway through that.
Why do you think Becky's mean?
I don't think anybody likes stuff on their head.
Do you not like stuff on your head?
No, I do actually. I just a lot of times when you put it there, I know I'm sleeping, but I feel like with a cat, the strategy with a cat. The cat knows you're awake. It's just gonna bug you. So you have to pretend like you're still asleep, and then eventually
the cat would bug you more if you're asleep.
No, the cat's like, and then you pretend to sleep, and then they go and bother your brother or something.
I don't have a brother. Well, I do.
We do, but then that's the thing. Cat ain't coming back after you don't know where he is.
Okay.
A cat don't know where he is.
More things you're grateful for.
I was grateful for a conversation with you today.
Really?
I was grateful for.
You got yelled at like a lot.
Well.
But you earned it.
Well, I didn't yell.
No, you didn't
yell. At least the communication lines were open, and that's a good thing. And I learned some things.
You did?
I think so. Yeah, about myself. What was I going to say?
Marriage is hard, kids.
Thankful that it's Friday.
I think Tony's coming. Tony was supposed to come this morning.
Okay.
He says he's coming tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Tony's a great mechanic, but he's hard to get in front of. You got to pin him down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pin him down. No, he usually comes.
The problem is he's Puerto Rican, not Mexican. I can't like call in immigration and be like, "Hey,
he's American.
Can you bring this guy to my house?"
Yeah, there was one of them. Yeah, I was thankful for a quick and easy dinner tonight. That was good. You must be starving, though.
I had some chia. I do want to say we had reviewed this lip gloss last week, the NYX Fat Lip Oil.
500 years old.
It's not moisturizing.
Oh, that's why I like the oily one better.
The oily one might, but I don't know. I still can't decide. I think the Jane Airedale is probably the best one overall for your lips because it's got hyaluronic acid, which will exfoliate them and moisturize them. But who the fuck knows?
All right. So,
but anyway, I'm dialing back my recommendation on this a tiny bit.
Is that the one with the puffy bumblebee?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Good.
Can you put some on?
No, it's okay. People think I'm weird enough.
Jason is concerned about your hair, or maybe
no, he liked it.
He
liked
this
it.
like whole wing thing.
I don't know what's going on with that.
You look like Polly from The Sopranos.
No, what are you doing?
All right. So, anything else you're thankful for?
No, I think I was. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thankful that it's tomorrow's Saturday. It's a new day.
We're gonna have to try to go. So hopefully Tony will come early. Then we can go to Costco, pick up some stuff because the neighborhood kids come by for snacks and we don't have any right now. And the neighborhood kids are also coming by so Doug can put air in their tires. And both of our cars need air in the tires. So.
Although I was mildly hoping to. Well, let's see what time to think. To shoot down to Naples, get ourselves a Kelly's roast beef sandwich.
I can't have Kelly's.
You can have the meat though.
Let me have a bowl of meat. Yeah. It's exactly what I have. A bowl of meat.
Kind of bowl.
Kelly's roast beef has a gluten-free bun.
They may, or we bring a gluten-free bun and throw it on there. Anyways, one of the other and the there's an art gallery showing that I wanted to go see.
That's totally not going to happen. Well, sorry, you want to go to an art gallery?
No, it's like in a strip mall, but there's like it's an art gallery thing. Photographs of John Lennon in his last weekend.
Is it in Naples?
It's in Naples, yeah.
I would love to do that. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to do it.
It was
catered to gluten-free needs very well. The bun isn't a typical gluten-free bun either. It's one of the better ones I've gotten at a restaurant.
Look at that.
So they said that they have one. There's a website called Find Me Gluten Free. You guys, I've been having random food reactions, and here's the crazy thing, not to get off topic and drag the podcast on even further, but I actually have a genetic marker
for gluten
and celiacs. But the funny thing is my celiac test had come back negative.
Yeah.
But I have Crohn's.
But they gave you you had an endoscopy, so they would have seen it then if you had it. Because they gave me one of those for that reason.
They diagnosed me with Crohn's when they did the endoscopy.
Yeah, well, Crohn's is different than celiac, right?
Yes, yes, it is. But I don't think they can see celiac. Celiac is a blood thing, isn't it? I don't know.
Wait, Twisted has never been to an art exhibit.
Never?
And she is a Twisted Art lady, so that might be the best kind.
That's concerning. Let's go to one. Where do you live? I don't know.
I think she's in Texas for some reason. I have been to art school. Ask me how that turned out.
He did. He dropped out. What are you gonna do?
I'm a bum. So anyways, so that's the thing.
Everyone have a what? Go ahead.
No. So the thing in Naples, it's photographs taken by John Lennon's girlfriend during his lost weekend. Her name is May Pang. Was hired by Yoko Ono to date John while she had her little shenanigan over here. Like they never talk about that, but sent him to California. Apparently he was boozing it up with Alice Cooper and all this, all these people, Keith Moon, and
Alice Cooper's having a little renaissance right now.
Oh yeah, Alice Cooper's the best. So May Pang was his girlfriend, took all these pictures. So she's the one at this thing in Naples tomorrow. And she's been there since Thursday. You're showing the work, she'll sign stuff, whatever. But I want to go because I have a question for her. She and John went to a taping of the Odd Couple series back in the 70s, and nobody's going to ask her that question.
He's obsessed with the Odd Couple.
And I need to know what episode they saw. The Odd Couple.
If we're the Odd Couple, okay, so I haven't watched the Odd Couple enough to know.
Oh, it's so good.
I don't even know which one's which. Which one of us is Felix and which is one of the others?
I think I am the Felix in this. I'm the uptight.
The uptight one. Yes.
Although watching that, I always identified more with Oscar. He was kind of,
Twisted says, I'm about to start an art program. Like, you're going to teach it? I would love to take it if you were. But it's expensive because I'm broke. Also, let me know when your pod is if it's this weekend. I'd like to watch. Last time you messaged, I think we were watching you were doing it. I think we were doing a football nonsense or something, and we couldn't. But I really want to support you. And I actually literally have on my calendar watch Sam's podcast. You and SB.
Oh, she's enrolling. She's enrolling.
Oh, she's enrolling.
Don't listen to what
girl.
they say. Don't listen. Like, there's certain things you need to know about how light behaves.
You should talk to Doug sometime.
Broken color, things of that nature. You need to know these things. But I did something bad today. Wasn't that bad. It actually came out really good though. I used AI for one of the slides.
You can do that. Use AI.
Well, there's two. I wanted to show something going around the globe that was very slow. So I had first I had a turtle on a map, and then I did a snail on a map.
Which one's better? The snail's going to leave a trail.
The snail I couldn't really use because it looked like lady parts, like in a weird way. And then it had, instead of just like, you know how snails have like two things, it had like 6 or 7 of them. And it was just weird looking. So I would have had to go and so I didn't use a snail. But anyways, it's like, be careful when you use this AI stuff because it doesn't spell words correctly. And then it's
right now it's like a drunk toddler.
Oh, it's like a
defiant drunk
really
toddler. Twisted says, I haven't been live since the Super Bowl. Maybe I'll do one tomorrow. Well, let us know if you're going to do one live. If the
we'll come and heckle you.
Not only will we come, but we will promote it on our page. We're happy to send people.
Absolutely.
We want to support all of you guys in any way that we can. So if you're, and of course we have some businesses that we've talked about having in the podcast. I'm sorry, guys. Look at me. I'm a fucking disaster. So if there's a way, if any of you guys, especially the master haters and of course the haters, if there's anything we can do to support you, we would love to do it. And just let us know.
Hear about the big ass lady that backed into a fan?
No.
Disaster.
Not that funny. Good night.
See ya.
Love you.
Have a good weekend.